Fox Business Alert: consumers may be spending, but how are they feeling? The final read of consumer sentiment for September came in today at 54.1, short of the 55.4 estimate. And when you rewind the clock, today's read looks way worse. Just a year ago, sentiment stood at 70.1. As retailers scramble to prevent consumers from running for the exits, Boston-based Clavio is looking to narrow the growing gap between businesses and consumers. The automated marketing platform promises to help brands harness customer data in real time and is betting on the notion that it can build the world's first AI-based autonomous business-to-consumer manager, essentially an autopilot or an agent for how brands talk to consumers. But despite a flashy IPO in September 2023 on the New York Stock Exchange and a big partnership with Shopify, Clavio shares are down about 22.6% year to date. So why are investors slow to grab hold of Clavio? Well, let's find out. Joining me now in a Fox Business exclusive, Clavio CEO Andrew Bialecki. Andrew, good to see you. It sounds like either they don't quite understand how you do what you do or the value of it. So explain first to our viewers what it is that you do when it comes to AI agents and bringing that gap to a narrower level between getting businesses to convince consumers to purchase things.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Liz. So we just had our conference today and we announced a bunch of new AI agents, like you mentioned. And we believe, look, if you look at any consumer business, there's two parts to it. There's the marketing side, letting people know about what your products do, what your products and services are, and staying top of mind. I think a lot of marketers struggle to build out that strategy and then actually execute on it, do all the copywriting, the creative, do all the personalization. We think AI is an awesome fit there, and we've already got a bunch of great proof points. And then on the reactive side, we find a lot of buyers, when they get to a website, they have some questions, even before they actually check out. And that's where our customer agent that we launched comes in. It's an always-on, personal assistant to every visitor that can answer questions, even give product recommendations. And we've seen that already for customers that have adopted it, boost conversion rates. So we're really excited about both those.
Okay, so how is it that you do what you do? Because every time I go on an app, it says, do you agree to be tracked? And I press no. So how do you sort of follow in the footsteps of a customer and convince them?
Yeah, it's a great question. So Clavio actually only works off of what we call first-party data. So that's information that a consumer is willing to give to a brand or business. And that could be things like, obviously, past purchases. It could be things like preferences. Oftentimes, we'll have businesses that will run little quizzes or surveys on their website to help get to know a customer. Or now through our customer agent, you can actually ask questions, and then we'll store that information as context, as we say in the AI era. And then our algorithms will then put that information to work in either what our chat agent says next, or connect it back. If you subscribe to marketing, we'll help connect you to the right content or the right products based on that information.
Well, apparently this is not ringing true, because you got a class action lawsuit that was filed in California federal court last month, basically saying that you engage in unlawful data collection, violating privacy, essentially, secret collecting of information. Tell me how you're going to fight that.
Oh, yeah. No, that's inaccurate. For us and our customers, we actually believe that consumers trust brands more when they know how their data is being used and proactively have to give access to that data.
Okay.
So all of the relationships that we help facilitate between consumers and brands are, as we say, there's subscriptions, there's consent, mutual consents. And also we give consumers the ability to, edit or update that information. We think that builds a lot of trust and credibility with every, brand that you're, affiliate with. And for our businesses, those are the kinds of consumers they want. Those are the consumers that will come back. The reality is that there was so much spam and unwanted messaging and unwanted experiences. Consumers have gotten good at just turning all of that off. And so we're actually helping, make sure that they, one, don't run afoul of any, legal laws, but also really get to know their customers in a way that is exciting to that end consumer and gets them to engage more.
Give me an example, if you could, of how your agentics have actually increased sales at any given customer with whom you deal.
Yeah, sure. So, I'll tell you about an apparel brand that just adopted our customer agent and our customer hub.
Okay.
And so the way it works is when you go to that apparel brand, I say may have bought this, long sleeve shirt. And when you go there, you can log back in, right? You can tell it's like, hey, I'm back to the website, and it will show me past purchases, like say this, this shirt. And it'll ask me, hey, do you want to order that again? But also show me related products. And then there's a chat agent where you can ask about availability. Hey, maybe I'm interested in this in a different color, but last time I was here it was out of stock. And the agent can proactively give you updates on that. What we're finding is that the consumers now, they actually have a bunch of questions that historically were hard to get answers to. They tried to find a 1-800 number and wait on hold, or maybe support was kind of hidden away. But now we're making that front and center. And so for those consumers, when they get their questions answered, they're much more likely to convert. And that's driving up repeat purchases, average basket size, and all of those are valuable, to the end retailer.
And how important has it been for this kind of effort on behalf of Clavio, and then, of course, your customers that you have as people who sign up? Give me a sense of how the upselling has really added to a basic ticket, because that, I think, is really interesting. I mean, I've been watching the upselling efforts that are built into a lot of these AI agents, and it's pretty darn smart.
Yeah, the reality is what we found with consumers is, in terms of adopting recommendations in AI, every consumer, a lot of consumers, more than half of them now, are starting with AI when they're trying to figure out what products are right for them. So there's clearly a lot of need to match up consumers with the products that they want.
Right.
And then oftentimes when it comes to upselling, a lot of folks just don't even know about all of the products or services that a brand offers. So a great customer of ours, Away, obviously really well known for all of their luggage, but they actually have a ton of other great travel bags and accessories. They're able to use Clavio to help educate their customers about everything that Away's developed beyond just luggage. And then when consumers find out that those products exist, they obviously love Away, and that gets them coming back.
So interesting. You were trained as an astrophysicist at Harvard, and you're doing this. You're reaching for the stars with this company. How are you going to get investors to understand the actual case for buying and holding this stock? Because right now, I mean, you would agree, it's a very rough road for Clavio.
Yeah, we don't worry too much about the day-to-day, week-to-week perturbations of stock price. Here's what we do know. I think in the future, every business wants to deliver amazing experiences to their customers, whether that's proactively through marketing or reactively when somebody has a question or needs help. I think the future of that, it's going to be delivered through artificial intelligence. I think everybody feels that way. Nobody likes waiting on hold. We always want to speak to the most knowledgeable person we can. I think AI has that promise, and we're excited. We're going to deliver that to the hundreds of thousands of customers that we have.
Andrew, good to see you. Thanks for explaining it.
Thanks.